stuff. Now behind my back, won't be long till you share it in a group chat. And when I call you up, you're gonna backtrack. And you should've kept my name out your mouth. Fast though how it all turned out. When you try to use my name for clout, keep on going, give you something you can talk about.
Hello, everybody. I know the camera looks different. Let's address that instantly. This is my phone, and I just had to throw this together in the last few seconds. If you were on my live yesterday, you saw that my camera just cut out in the middle of the live or at the end of the live. And it was because it was unplugged, but I've been charging it. It's not charging, and I'm not going to say I'm holding back tears because I cannot afford a new camera right now, but I kind of am. So pray for the camera that it miraculously becomes fixed, girl, because okay, that's all I'll say. Also, if you want to donate to the new camera fund, I might I'm really about to cry. I don't know if it's Virgo things. I do not like whenever stuff goes awry at the last minute. It really stresses me out. And I already been out of my house this morning, which I don't like to do. Okay, anyway, all right. You didn't come here. The battery, I guess, crapped it. Girl, I don't know. Shout out to the cousins from New Iberia, Louisiana. Okay, so that's not the reason we're... I swear I just think I saw my friend from law school. I gotta text him. On walking at this... I swear I think I just saw my friend from law. That was crazy. Oh my God, so many weird, crazy things are happening. Okay. Okay. No, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. Because, I already have everything I need, and everything that I need, I will have in the exact moment I need it. Okay. So this is the outside of the arraignment. It looks like they're setting up for a press conference. We got Zohran Mamdani's, girl back here. Is that her? No. Okay. Just kidding. I was just joking. Now there is supposed to be cameras in the courtroom. So let me just see if I can pull up a few other different, okay, News Nation. I want to see if I can pull up a few different, what's the word I'm looking for? Let me gather my thoughts. Okay. Look, so here I'm on News Nation. It says REINER pool feed. Pool is the media pool, I think. It says pool feed from KABC here. So that's going to be News Nation. All right. And then this is the outside of the courtroom view. So let me pull up some more different angles. Just so we don't miss anything. Now, during my Diddy trial coverage, which one is this one? This is Reuters. We already have Reuters. During my Diddy trial coverage, they did also have live updates written, people were inside the court. Let me see. Live Nick REINER arraignment. The arraignment was supposed to start 8 minutes ago. Daily Mail News, Los Angeles Magazine. No, I don't want to watch that shill doing commentary. Nick REINER. Okay, so I don't think anybody's inside there doing live updates. Let me do it. Live updates. Okay, I'll pull up Daily Mail News. It looks like they all... Shout out to the British cousins. Shout out to the British cousins in the chats. I know I've been talking a lot about the inbred freaks that are running that country over there. Just please be aware and be assured. I am not talking about the people. Okay, I am talking about the tyrants. Okay, that's who I'm talking about. I know that. We the people are all cousins. Okay. Allegedly, Mercury's not even in retrograde. Mercury's not even in retrograde and my stuff's crapping out. I mean, I do leave it plugged in probably too much, and there were probably things that I've done. I also lost the the real charger. So it's like I'm using a wire that isn't the same brand as mine. There's there's plenty of blame to go around. Okay, so we have the Daily Mail News. We have Reuters. So this is in California, and that means unfortunately, we're not gonna get any inner city press coverage. Okay, it does look like News Nation is actually inside the courtroom. So, it says, will feed when video becomes available. So, they have, I guess, gotten permission from the court to be in there and live stream it. So I'm going to do the reaction and commentary to it. We also have some outside of the court view right here. This camera looks so weird. I think it does like an automatic filter on the iPhone. It's also at a completely different angle than I'm used to. It just looks weird. I usually don't stream with a filter, and it's like got this weird like orangey color. I don't know, girl. I don't know. But honestly, thank God. Thank God I have a phone. Thank God for a phone. Thank God that my camera was the only thing that wasn't working. Yeah, you live and learn. It's like a $2,000 mistake. Oops. What are you going to do? Okay, so one thing I will say is I've gotten, or we the public have gotten some conflicting reports on what Nick Reiner is going to do today. Is he going to plead guilty, or is he going to plead not guilty? And I mean, I've seen even that very high level, guilty or not guilty, I've seen conflicting reports. I've also seen conflicting reports over if he does plead not guilty, what is his grounds for pleading not guilty going to be? Is it going to be not guilty by reason of temporary insanity? Is it going to be not guilty by reason of involuntary intoxication, which is when you're drugged? Is there some maybe gray area in between? Because we have heard from Harvey Levin and TMZ that Nick Reiner's medications were just switched up in the weeks or months leading up to these deaths. Now, there's one kind of like consideration I don't think anybody's really making, which is that he just didn't do it. Everyone, in the media, online that I've come across seems to be convinced that for sure, whether he did it knowingly, whether he had insanity, whether he this, that, the other thing, he did it. But I'm like, girl, I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see the Ring camera footage, nor do I want to. But it does seem like it's not really being considered even by the general public that Nick didn't do it. And I think a big reason for that is because of his history with substance use, abuse, mental health situations and things like that. And, I have been banging the drum, as it were, sounding the alarm, as it were, to try to tell y'all, like, I think that's kind of like messed up. Like, I think it's kind of messed up that just because he had substance use abuse issues in the past and has been sober for 6 years, by the way, according to his own dad just a few months ago, that he's had substance use issues and he has mental health stuff, maybe schizophrenia, maybe whatever but that just must mean he's a killer. I don't like that. I don't like that type of narrative. Now, there are some other pieces of information, evidence, as it were, I haven't seen, but we have seen reported in the news that there was blood in the hotel room that Nick Reiner was staying at. There is other circumstantial evidence which would lead to point to maybe some type of motive or to some type of indication that there was disagreement between Nick and his parents on the night of or the night before they were, unalived or whatever. Thank you so much, Poetically Key. Poetically Key Loudy, thank you so much, y'all. I'm about to cry over this camera, I swear. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Lee Birch, also for the $10 super chat. So sorry about the camera. Oh man. Okay. Thank you. $15 minus whatever YouTube takes to the camera fund. This is interesting. Steelers Princess said someone that's been in 18 rehabs, there's going to be more going on in that boy's past than just rugs. Listen. Okay. I'm getting kind of suspicious as to like nothing's going on here. This, I feel like I've seen. Okay. This is a different angle. So it's people going in. It was supposed to be. Then they got this guy. Look, I'm going to just tell y'all right now. There's a man with a giant sign and it says F word Trump. Okay. I didn't make the sign. Okay. I can't really help what they're putting in the, I can't really help what they put in this on the screen. I'm just trying to bring y'all, what's being reported from out here. This is in LA. Now, allegedly, this was supposedly supposed to be at the Stanley Mosque Courthouse, but does it look like the Stanley Mosque Courthouse to y'all? Oh, it kind of does look like that's where it is. Okay, so here we are outside the front. This is Reuters. Here we are inside. This is News Nation. Oh, go all the way to the end, girl. Okay. The thing is, like, even if it's a live stream, when I click off of the page, off the picture for that live stream, it just stops playing. So I have to like scoot the little cursor all the way up. Let me look up just regular news and see. Oh, did L donate to the PayPal or the GoFundMe or the something? If y'all are donating to GoFundMe, just so you know, that's not going to go to the camera fund. The GoFundMe is only the lawyer fund. So if you want to donate to the camera fund, then I would suggest not donating via GoFundMe. That goes to a separate bank account that goes only to lawyer fees. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Pumbaa, for the $199.99 czar camera fund. Thank you. Okay, so I'm on like just like regular Google. ABC News says Nick Reiner expected to enter plea in unaliving of parents. Now, entering a plea just means guilty or not guilty, and that's what the arraignment is. The 32-year-old faces, The 32-year-old faces 2 counts of first-degree murder, special circumstance. He made a brief first court appearance on December 17th. He waived his right to a speedy arraignment. In California, they got 3 days. You got to arraign somebody or 2 or whatever it is. Since his last appearance, sources told ABC News that law enforcement and defense attorneys have been working to piece together Nick's psychiatric and substance use history. Okay, so this is news. This is new news. Since his last appearance, sources, who are the sources? I don't know. We got some, gray propaganda here, or would this be white propaganda? There's gray, white, and black propaganda, right? I gotta get, or is it red? I gotta get my colors of propaganda memorized. But since his last appearance, some source somewhere told ABC News that law enforcement and defense attorneys have been working to piece together. So law enforcement and Nick Reiner. So everybody's been working to piece together Nick Reiner's psychiatric and substance abuse history. Legal experts say California law allows defense attorneys to signal as early as today whether they are going to be seeking to use mental health in their defense, or in the defense of Nick, in their defense of Nick Reiner. Nick Reiner has a documented history of addiction and substance abuse treatment, and friends have told investigators that his mental health had been deteriorating prior to the unalivings. Okay, so Friends of who? I don't know. Could be friends of his parents, could be friends of his. It just says friends told investigators that Nick's mental health had been deteriorating prior to the murmurs. He could enter a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity, though he could also say not guilty by reason of insanity later. All he has to really do today is guilty or not guilty. Let's check in with our camera views. I guess, the worst case scenario here is we don't get to see inside the courtroom, but maybe a press conference afterward. It's supposed to be today. Let me pull up his docket sheet on the LA criminal docket, the criminal case access here. I agree. What is the case number? 25. Okay, I didn't remember. Things I do. Okay, so I'm going to pull up, I need to pull up his file in my computer. I do have the file number here. So then let's go to this. I can pull it up so y'all can see what I'm doing. So the file case number is 25 CJCF 08098. It's loading. Okay. Here is his case access sheet. This is the public. I'm just going back and forth and just checking these things here. Okay, what's this? This has got the camera on the inside of the court. This doesn't look like Stanley Mosque. This actually looks more like the New York federal courthouse. Did they redo the Stanley Mosque? Okay. I just don't want to miss it. Okay. All right. So here's his criminal case access sheet. And these are the things that he is charged with, the parties' proceedings. So today, January 7th, 8:30 a.m., that was 2032. That was 32 minutes ago. So I don't know if the hearing is underway. It doesn't look like it is, though. Thank you so much, Mama Bear 67 for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Or super sticker, excuse me. It will show the courtroom on delay. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so let's go back to this. Okay, so it does say that this is going to be it's supposed to be happening today, 8:30. So right now it's 11:30 Eastern. So excuse me, it's not 11:30 Eastern. It's 11:53 Eastern. So it would be 8:53 local time over there. Okay. Under California law, this abcnewsgo.com article says, a jury can find a defendant not guilty by reason of insanity, which would result in confinement to a state psychiatric hospital rather than prison. That process can begin at arraignment, but is not required to. And that's what I keep trying to tell y'all. Not guilty. Girl, the thing's singing? What the hell? No. Hold on. I got to figure out which thing is screaming at me. Oh my God. Do y'all hear that? No, that's supposed to be muted. Mute. No, mute.
As a small
I cannot stand that. Okay, I think it stopped. Okay. He could enter a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity Wednesday, though that could also come later. Under California law, they can find him not guilty by reason of insanity. That's not the same thing as not guilty. That is nowhere near the same thing as not guilty. Not guilty by reason of insanity, and I've told y'all this many times, that is in no way getting off easy. That is actually worse, because whenever you get sentenced guilty and that you're found guilty and you get sentenced, you pretty much have an end date indefinitely set, so if it's like you got to serve 25 years, sometimes it's 25 years to life, so you really don't have an end date, but at least it's 25 to life. That's what's on the books, that's what's on your thing. Now, you could get in more trouble and you could have your sentence lengthened. You could commit more crimes, you could have your sentence lengthened. There's different good behavior. You could have your sentence in some cases reduced after even being in jail or prison for a crime. So there is that. However, if you get found not guilty by reason of insanity, it means you're too insane to function. And you got to be in the state psychiatric state. This is asylum. This is an asylum. You have to be in the state psychiatric hospital rather than prison. And usually you do not get an end date. It's just, whenever they're better. And spoiler alert, usually people never get better. So usually you're in an asylum the rest of your life. So even if you quote get better. So it's not like actually better at all. You're actually in there with people that are criminally insane. So it's not like, not guilty, reason of insanity, go home and spend your inheritance. No, it's like actually hell. It's hellish conditions. So I don't really even see the benefit in most cases of not guilty by reason of insanity. Now, there's like temporary insanity or like medical induced insanity, which can also be referred to sometimes as involuntary intoxication. Like, there's like these different substances where if you take them or someone puts them in your drink or whatever, it makes you more susceptible to undue influence and things like that. Scopolamine or I think that's what it's called. Something like that. Scopolamine, the zombie drug, things like that. So if you're on something like that, that's not the same as insanity. That's like because you were on a substance and then as soon as the substance wore off, you were back to normal. Like still you can be found to be guilty by a jury. It's not a get out of jail free, but not guilty by reason of insanity is not actually like, I don't know how or why in our common cultural zeitgeist it started to be, just thought like, not guilty, reason of insanity, you're going to get off easy. No, you're not. You're going to go to an insane asylum run by the state. That you're not going to be just walking out the front door. You better go full blast, not guilty. Now, these are all different defenses. Not guilty by reason of involuntary intoxication is completely different. And the reason I keep bringing that up is because we were told by the media that Nick REINER had recently been put on different medications. So I'm just wondering, was he under a conservatorship? Was he under a guardianship? Was he under a power of attorney of some sort where someone else was allowed to decide which medications to give him? Because that's going to present a very interesting constitutional question. I think that conservatorships and guardianships, especially where they are allowing for the drugging of people against their will, like happened in Brittany's case, is already constitutionally not allowed. It's unconstitutional. That's my belief. But what if someone is under a conservatorship or a guardianship or court-ordered treatment and they're given, and they have schizophrenia even, and they're given medication that makes them absolutely lose all and every touch with reality and any apprehension of what they're doing, and then they go and kill their parents? Who's responsible for that? If it's a situation where the person did not consent to take the medicine, if it's a situation like in, rehab or something where it's like you're court ordered, you have to take the medicine, you can't say no, or you're in a conservatorship and you're Jamie Spears is making you take the lithium or making you take the experimental this, that, or the other, and then you run out and unalive somebody and you don't even know. I mean, first of all, yeah, likely story, easy for you to say, first of all, like, who knows if that's even possible? This is a totally hypothetical situation, but like, who's responsible? If a doctor and a guardian or a conservator come together and force somebody to take medicine, and then that somebody then goes off the rails, instead of it making them better, it makes them worse, and they kill somebody, who's responsible? I think the people that forced them to take that medicine is that got to be at least as responsible as the person who was forced to take the medicine, because in order to be found guilty for manslaughter or homicide or whatever, homicide is like is a way of dying, but like in order to be found guilty of murder, you have to have the mental requisite. You had to have done it on purpose or taken intentional knowing steps to put yourself in a situation where you knew that could have happened, and that's what happened, and there you go, it happened. If somebody's being put on medicine in a conservatorship or a guardianship, who's responsible for the effects of that medicine when that person in the conservatorship or guardianship can't even enter into a contract? People take responsibility for others. I call it slavery. Ownership is what I call it. They take ownership. They take ownership over others. So shouldn't they take ownership over what happens as a consequence of taking that ownership of others? I don't know. I don't know. No, that's not even a benefit. Horse Trouble said the benefit is he gets properly medicated and likely won't be in general population, but that's not even true, because right now he's in just regular jail, just holding jail, and they're medicating him there. So they can medicate you in prison too. So again, I still fail to see the benefit. And again, I mean, this whole thing about like properly medicated, like who's to know? Who's to know what's properly medicated? I mean, it's just like we live in such a freaking nanny state that people like to run around and act like they know what's best for other people. And the sad and unfortunate reality is most of y'all don't even know what's best for your damn self. But everybody wants to jump in. Everybody wants to jump in and try to Baker Act somebody and, oh, you're properly medicated. I'm sure the people that were medicating him just now thought they were properly medicating him too. And look what ended up happening. Okay. And it's just impossible to know how much contribution to his mental state that medicine actually did have. I know for sure Bam Margera said that the medicine they had him on made him feel like he wanted to die. Britney Spears said that the medicine they had her on made her feel like she wanted to, she couldn't even speak. She said, I couldn't even talk. I couldn't even talk to my parents. So, LA County Jail is the largest mental health facility in the world. Somebody said, thank you, Mama Bear, for the $4.99 super sticker. I think I already said thank you, but if I didn't, thank you for that. I know I tried to look up the probate records. Nothing came up. Okay. Let's look at our screens here. They're not playing it. I don't know if it really was supposed to start at 8:30. I mean, that is what the court case thing said. Still nothing. Okay, so let me just look up like Nick Reiner arraignment. They keeping it kind of close to the chest here, huh? Reborn Furniture Designs said, yep, psych meds are practically experimental because it's always trial and error. No one actually knows what's going to work, how the patient will react, and or what dose is needed of which medications. And, let's take it even a step higher back and a step further. Does anyone really even know what schizophrenia is? I mean, I know these doctors out here like try to act like they do, but like, do they really? Is every single person diagnosed with schizophrenia actually and indeed suffering with the exact same affliction? I find it highly unlikely, because like one of the symptoms of schizophrenia is like sees things other people don't see. Well, how do I know that the other people just their eyes ain't good? Like, I think about this all the time. You know how cats and dogs can hear sounds humans can't hear because sounds are just a frequency, and we just happen to have the apparatus to perceive some small spectrum of that frequency through our ears. We can also perceive certain vibrational frequencies with our eyes. That's how we can see color. You know, some people's colorblind. So what if like most of the world was colorblind and then there was just like a few people that could see who could see color, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm seeing all these bright vivid colors. Oh my god, don't you see that that's a different color? That's red and that's blue and this is green." And but like the rest of the colorblind world is like, "Oh, wow, we got to lock that one up." Like, when really maybe y'all are just colorblind. So, first of all, like, one of the symptoms of schizophrenia being like seeing and hearing things that other people don't see or hear. Uh, how do I know they don't just have really good ears and like really good eyes? Or maybe they don't have like 6, 7, 8, 9 senses whenever we only have 5. So that's kind of like, I mean, I don't know. I certainly, absolutely, like just in an anecdotal way, have gone paint shopping, for example, with my fiance before, years ago. And we're in the paint store and I'm holding like 3 different color, grayish, whitish, because we're going to paint pretty much the whole house with this color. And he said, "I genuinely do not see a difference between these 3 colors. Like, I don't see a difference." And to me, it's like, it's going to give me a headache if I have this color and have to look at it versus this one, it's going to make me happy. And it's like, he just don't see the difference of the colors. And it's because, I think that's like, biological difference between men and women. It's supposedly women can see like a wider spectrum of colors and we can differentiate between colors. And on average, of course, all of this stuff is just averages. This is, there's exceptions to every single thing. But it's like, what even the hell even is schizophrenia? And then one of the things is like, well, one symptom of schizophrenia is people, think the government's following them. Well, girl, I mean, if these people really can see and hear stuff other people can't, then maybe they would be on a list to be getting watched. I don't see how that's a symptom of a medical condition. Anyway, I don't know. Listen, if y'all have been diagnosed with that and all that, maybe you can put your experience in the chat. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm so wrong. I don't know. There's also other ways like too, where my fiance, for example, he speaks Punjabi. And in Punjabi, they have aspirated consonants and non-aspirated ones. But like sometimes he'll be saying the two, like I'll be trying to learn. He'll be saying the two, and he's like, "These sound very different." I'm like, "I do not hear a difference." So even culturally, what we have been accustomed to seeing, not seeing, what we have been accustomed to hearing, not hearing in our formative years will shape what you're able to perceive with your 5 or however many senses that you have. And so it's like, because somebody sees some more things than other people, that's because they schizophrenic. What even is that? So is schizophrenic just another word for psychic? It's like, what do you mean they're imagining it? What even is a hallucination really? I mean, look, listen, as I said earlier, there are exceptions to everything. So I definitely think some people probably do be hallucinating and it's just really not there. But like, I can't be the only one that gets freaked out when your cat's in the corner and it's just looking up at something, it can see something. And it's meowing and meowing and meowing, or like a little baby talking to somebody. What in the hell is an imaginary friend? Anybody care to enlighten me on this? All the kids with imaginary friends schizophrenic? So that's the first thing. So if you don't even really know what you're even aiming at, how do you medicate it? Hello? I don't know, girl. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, it comes out when you're in your early 20s, I heard. Yeah. It starts to. Cousin was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He passed away. That is very sad. My family always thought he was given too much lithium. Yeah, the lithium is it's like a freaking lobotomy. Making too much sense over here. That's why they broke my camera, girl. A daydream is a hallucination. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I'm never beating the schizophrenia allegations. Me. I've never been diagnosed with that. In fact, and indeed, I actually regularly do. When I have meetings with my doctor, I have a psychiatrist because I do, I need my little ADD medicine and all that. But I'll be like, sometimes I feel like they're gonna come break in my house and take me to an asylum because they're gonna say I got schizophrenia. And my doctor was like, "You do not have schizophrenia." You're 35 years old at this point. It would have expressed in some way. And he was like, plus, like the medicines like you've taken in the past, you would have had different reactions, this, that, the other. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be calling upon you if they ever try to come and lock me up. Because Adam 2216 Gray Mason of Nashua said that women like me need to be locked up because we're sick in the effing head. But I do be daydreaming. Somebody said, if you think you have it, you don't. If you think you have it, you don't have it. I've heard that before. Okay. Let's go here. Let's just see. I mean, I'm starting to become like, are we hallucinating? Are we collectively hallucinating that this was supposed to be shown? Maybe they're having some technical difficulties inside of the room. Let's see. Let's just click this and see if they're inside. Nope. I'm going to look up and like some more possible angles. Nick Reiner inside court. Page 6. See, this one right here, Reuters, it has a picture like on the thumbnail of them inside the court. See the thumbnail right here? Nick Reiner arraignment charged with his parents. But then when you actually click on the video, it's this one. Wait, yeah, it's this one. They're like outside the court. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll just sit here to... Well, here's the thing too. Lee Birch said, these questions are so fascinating to me. I wonder the same things. I have heard in other cultures, hallucinations are not negative or frightening like they are here, and they're kind. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm from that culture. Like, I'm from a culture where, you know, the aunties, the grandmas, they'll just be saying stuff like, "Oh yeah, you know, Paul passed through earlier. I was just talking to him." And it's like nobody thinks twice about that. Oh, shout out to Paul. Tell him, "Hey." And Paul been dead 15 years or whatever. So it's like I don't really understand what's so scary about a hallucination, like in and of itself, like especially if you're not the one having it. Now, if you are seeing hallucinations and it's of scary stuff, telling you to do dangerous or scary stuff, obviously I could see how that would be scary. I'll say that. What are people saying in here? So it looks like they're fiddling around with the microphones. What could that be about? Who knows? There's no, updates coming out of the court. News Nation appears to be the only one that has the inside the court pool. See Reiner pool feed from KABC here. Will feed when video becomes available. Let me go to KABC. Maybe they have some information we don't. KABC. Okay, Associated Press. They also, what is KABC? ABC 7? Same thing? They're live now. Oh no, that's Robin. Looks like they're scurrying. What does that say? Oh, that's their white balance paper, I guess. Huh. So, like, I mean, what is really going on here? Should I do a poll? Let me do a poll while I'm waiting. This makes total sense, Brittany, and it lines up with something I also saw. So Brittany said, I heard about a study showing that people in other countries don't have violent hallucinations, but people in America do because we are exposed to so much violence. That's got to be true. And it's the same thing with dreams. Like when color TV came out, people started dreaming in color, apparently. Like people used to not dream in color, they used to dream in black and white, apparently. I don't know if that's true. I wasn't there. By the time I got here, they had color TV. Okay, I'm gonna what was I going to look up? I forgot now. Okay, we do have a new article from what is it? AP. There's the judge. His scheduled appearance comes 3.5 weeks after the beloved actor, director, and his wife of 36 years were found unalive with stab wounds in their home in the upscale Brentwood section of LA. Dozens of media members with cameras were gathered outside the downtown courthouse. Dozens more reporters gathered inside waiting for the hearing. A judge approved the use of cameras in the courtroom, but a previous hearing, she said she would not allow them to take pictures of the defendant. So apparently that's going to be what's going on today, where they can take pictures and videos, but just not of Nick Reiner. See, I thought that they were not taking pictures of him because he was in the smock, but he's out of the smock as of yesterday, the self-harm smock era. But apparently, according to APnews.com, the judge is still not allowing cameras to take pictures of him. Nick Reiner, the third of Rob Reiner's 4 children. I thought he had 3. I thought he had 3. Yeah. I guess he has 3 kids with Michelle and then 1 from a previous marriage. Nick Reiner was arrested hours later. He has been held without bail ever since. He was charged 2 days later with 2 counts of first degree. You know what? He did not enter a plea during a brief court appearance. He was wearing his shackles. His attorney, Alan Jackson, has given no indication of the plans for his defense. Nearly all defendants in criminal cases plead not guilty at this stage. Alan Jackson, the lawyer, could also ask for another delay before a plea is entered. If Nick pleads not guilty, the case would normally then head toward a preliminary hearing to determine whether there's enough evidence for him to stand trial. His mental competence for trial could also be a factor. A decade ago, he publicly discussed his severe struggles with addiction and mental health after making a movie with his dad called Being Charlie that was very loosely based on their lives. Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner were killed early on the morning of December 14th, and they were found late in the afternoon, authorities said. The LA County Medical Examiner said in initial findings that they died from multiple sharp force injuries, but released no other details, and police have said nothing about possible motives. Alan Jackson is a high-profile defense attorney and former LA County prosecutor who represented Harvey Weinstein at his Los Angeles trial and Karen Reed at her intensely followed trials in Massachusetts. After the initial Reiner hearing, Alan Jackson called this case a devastating tragedy. He said the proceedings will be very complex, and he asked that the circumstances be met, not with a rush to judgment. The counts against Nick come with special circumstances of multiple unalivings, plus an allegation that he used a dangerous weapon, a knife. The additions could mean a greater sentence. Prosecutors have said they have not yet decided whether to seek the unalive penalty. Prosecution is being led by Deputy District Attorney Habib Balian, whose recent cases include the Menendez brothers' attempt at resentencing and the trial of Robert Durst. Okay, so that is very interesting. Okay, so Habib Balian, I do not know if I'm saying that name right, but this person was at the heart of the prosecution team So he was leading the prosecution team that was ahead of the Menendez brothers. So what was that Menendez brothers case about? They also unalived their parents in LA. And they kind of at some point they started to use the defense that their father had abused them and they basically had like battered children syndrome. Well, again, like I said, it didn't work. Like these things don't work. Like they don't, like sometimes they do, but a lot of times I think like victims of crimes and stuff that go on to perpetrate crimes, like people don't view the case in like a logical way, or they view it in a logical way, but it's still overshadowed with like all this emotion. Like when the Nick Reiner case came out to the public, like whenever it was like, okay, this happened, he's going to be standing trial, whatever, people were like, he's going to get off just like the Menendez brothers. Like, y'all, please, that's not logical and it's not factual. The Menendez brothers are in prison and have been for like decades, and they didn't get out. Like, they were trying to get a resentencing now, knowing what we know about abuse and things like that, but they didn't. Like, they didn't help them in any way. They're still in prison. And they didn't even get parole. So that's the thing too. So what is it? Carriered? Again, I mean, we're circling back to schizophrenia because like I'm just basically trying to stall until we I'm stalling until we get some information here. But the voices tend to be very derogatory, but is that a symptom? So like if I have an imaginary friend, which I don't, but if I have an imaginary friend, I'm like, oh yeah, my imaginary friend's right here and we're about to go get our nails done. Is that schizophrenia? Or is it only if it's telling you to burn down the state house or whatever? I mean, I don't know. Again, y'all, I'm very skeptical about what even in the hell schizophrenia even is. Do you know one of the risk factors for schizophrenia is living in a city? Look it up, because I'm always looking it up. I'm always trying to figure out even what even is it? Like, what is it? What is schizophrenia? It seems so elusive. It seems like demons to me or something. I mean, I don't know. And I'm just trying to look it up, look up different things here and there. And one of the symptoms, one of the risk factors is living in a city. Okay. Like what even is this thing? The Menendez brothers were also a lot younger at the time of the crimes than Nick. Shout out to Elle. Thanks so much for gifting one membership. Thank you. Thank you. If you are the one who got the gifted membership, make sure to say thank you. So the guy, the prosecutor, I don't know, maybe that's a girl. The prosecutor who was at the helm of the team that was opposing the Menendez brothers getting resentenced, that's the same prosecutor ahead of this case, the killing the parents prosecutor. Rob Reiner was a prolific director whose work included some of the most memorable and endlessly watchable movies of the 1980s and 90s. His credits included This Is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, A Few Good Men, and When Harry Met Sally. During whose production he met Michelle Singer, a photographer, and married her soon after. The story has been corrected to reflect that Nick Reiner is the third of Rob's 4 children, not the youngest. So Nick Reiner has a younger sibling. Is it the sister, Romy? All right, let's go back to this. He's talking. Let me see what he's saying.
Light when we roll, just for white balance, right?
It's the white balance.
Don't leave it at that color, just for the white balance. Yeah.
Okay. So they're getting stuff ready over there. Let's pull this up to the current. See if we have anything from inside. It just says will feed when video becomes available. Girl, this was supposed to start an hour ago. So I don't know if the camera inside the courtroom ain't working, if they're running late. Under California law, so let's go back to this ABC News Go article. Under California law, a jury can find a defendant not guilty by reason of insanity, which would result in confinement to a state psychiatric hospital rather than a prison. That process can begin at arraignment, but is not required to begin at arraignment. To pursue this defense, attorneys must demonstrate that Nick suffered from a mental illness prior to developing an addiction. A mental illness caused solely by addiction does not meet the legal standard. And that's where we're going to get the, remember Lima saying, it wasn't schizophrenia, it was drug-induced. It was drug-induced schizophrenia. Amanda didn't have schizophrenia. It was drug-induced. Okay, well, that wouldn't apply as schizophrenia under the law. Okay, that don't count. You only if you had it before. And before addiction, didn't he start doing stuff when he's about 13 years old? So how are you going to prove that he had a mental condition before? I mean, what are you going to pull? You're going to call that psychotic narcissist, yogini, yoga teacher that was in their house and then wrote a book about Nick without, it's presumably without his consent. Who knows? A few famous kid was SA while on the set of Stand By Me. Whoa, is that true? Okay, look, listen, I have not confirmed this. I'm just reading Steeler Princess's comment, but Steeler Princess said a few famous kid, I don't know if you mean kids, was SA'd, so a famous kid maybe on the set of Stand By Me by a very famous director. I need more information. On that one. Thank you so much to Kels on Earth for the $5 super chat. Late, sorry, but the meds given to me for postpartum sent me into psychosis. I had to send my daughter to her grandma because I wanted to Oh, girl. See? Thank you for the $5 super chat, and I am glad that you are better. Shout out to Royalty Pip becoming a new member. Thank you. Corey Feldman, he was in Stand By Me. Oh, Corey Feldman, step to the plate. Who was the very famous director? That's what I want to know. Oh, Lord. So it's just not going to be, I mean, it's been going on supposedly for about 57 minutes. These are just all the different angles. These people right here look like agent provocateurs. The way they're dressed specifically. It's giving hired to be there, but what do I know? And what I mean by that is like it's patterns. My brain works in patterns. I have seen it for 5 years, like going to protests, going to rallies, going to court dates. There's usually like, a few different types of people there. And one of the types of people there is people that appear to be there just to stir up shit. And they are holding a giant F Trump sign, which look, that's their right to do. That's their First Amendment right. But like, I remember going to like Sean Paul Reyes's court date, Long Island audit, and there was obvious agent provocateurs there. One had a puppet. It was weird. It was very strange. Rob Reiner was, and again, I don't know, maybe they just out there, but like the fact that they're like standing right there in the camera in front of all these cameras just to have their little team meeting, that's giving like they're wanting to be on camera. Which is their right. They're allowed to want to be on camera. I'm not even saying anything is like illegal about it or anything, but just okay. Nick Reiner's defense attorney issued a statement. We ask during this process, you allow the system to move forward in the way that it was designed. The statement came last month. Don't jump to conclusions, please. Please have restraint and dignity and with the respect that this system and this process deserves and that the family deserves. Okay, hold on. Let me show y'all one thing. I did get the Spinal Tap book. Hold on. So while we're waiting here, I got the Spinal Tap book. Okay, this is one of the movies that was just now listed in that article. And as you can see, it says fine line between stupid and clever, the story of Spinal Tap by Rob Reiner with Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, and Harry Shearer. Now, I did not watch this movie, and I probably won't. It doesn't look like something that I can stomach, quite honestly. I don't even like the real versions of these bands. But, you know, that's kind of like the music my dad and my mom my dad definitely grew up like listening to this, like, what were they supposed to be, like a Metallica spoof or like a Kiss spoof? But this is the story of the movie, okay? And as expected, you know, as is typical, let me just I'm going to take the cover off the book so I can just show y'all the cover so it's easier to deal with. I haven't read it yet, but it's just, you know, okay, whatever. It's a book about a movie, okay, the making of a movie, okay, on first instance, on first glance. Wait, what is TMZ saying? Alan Jackson has pulled out. Okay, so we got breaking news, apparently, that Alan Jackson has pulled out of the trial. I don't know. I'm not seeing TMZ. Where? So that's what someone's saying, but I'm unable to find that. Where is TMZ saying that? Where? So I need a link. I need somebody to tell me where, because I just literally Alan Jackson, Nick Reiner, TMZ. 13 minutes. Yep, there it is. Okay. Robin Michelle Reiner's murders. Nick Reiner's attorney withdraws from the case. Oh, shoot. Okay. He's off the case, TMZ has learned, and Nick will be represented by a public defender. This is probably having to do with money. They probably couldn't figure out how to pay for him. Sources connected to the Reiner family tell TMZ when attorney Alan Jackson appears in court Wednesday morning for Nick's arraignment, he will inform the judge he is no longer representing Nick. Our sources say a public defender will step in for now and the case will be continued, so he's not going to plead today. As for why he's off the case, we're told the family is going to be releasing a statement as soon as the proceedings are over, and TMZ will post it. TMZ reported, this is 13 minutes ago. This article came out 13 minutes ago. It is breaking news. TMZ reported it's likely Nick will eventually plead not guilty by reason of insanity. He was diagnosed with a form of schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder. So not, oh girl, see, you talk about colorblind and the freaking AI gives you a colorblind test free quiz game. Okay, got it. I guess I'm schizophrenic for noticing that pattern too. Anyway, so he was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder. So girl, like as if schizophrenia isn't hard enough to pin down on its own, and what in the hell even is that? Now we got to figure out what in the hell differentiates it from schizoaffective disorder. Okay, so we're told his medicine had sent him off the rails in the month before the murders. And there was somebody in my chat just now, who's been here a lot, who said she wanted to unalive her own child because they gave her some medicine that made her crazy in her postpartum temporarily era. And so who gave him those meds? Was he under conservatorship? If he was under a conservatorship and he was forced to take those meds, I think he's not guilty. And it's not insanity. It's involuntary intoxication. That would be the theory of the case. If he was under a conservatorship and forced to take medications in a rehab and a court-ordered treatment, he was being forced by a court, by color of law, to take those medicines, I think he should be not guilty. Sorry. That's my opinion. Because that means he didn't consent to taking them. We're told his medicines had sent him off the rails in the month before the murmurs. So it was all in about 1 month before the murmurs. So there's Karen Reed praising the Lord, I guess. And there's Alan Jackson. He's going to be pulling out the case. He's coming off a huge victory in the Karen Reed trial in Boston. where Karen was found not guilty for allegedly unaliving her boyfriend. It's unclear if the public defender is just a stopgap until another lawyer is going to take the case, or if the public defender, watch Mark Garrigo step to the plate, or if the public defender will handle the case from this point forward. Well, if the public defender, that isn't nasty. He needs a new shirt on. If the public defender is going to handle the case, I can almost guarantee you he's going to get found guilty. Public defenders are good, but they sometimes are not. And it's kind of a grab bag, hit or miss. But the most important thing is that they're so overloaded. They're so overloaded that they just don't have the time to dedicate to these cases. So this says story's still developing. People are saying, yeah, I mean, I don't, unless y'all are going to give me some type of like why you say stuff, I'm definitely not going to be reading this irresponsible ass shit you're putting in my chat like as if it's true. To go from Alan Jackson to go from public defender is quite a fall. Will be interesting to see if he was in a conservatorship. Hold on. Okay. Let me see if any. So he's not going to plead today, it sounds like, according to TMZ. If Mark Garagos ends up representing on this case, he represented the Menendez brothers. Oh, wait, someone's talking. Okay, they're just waiting. So the local time over there is 9:36 a.m. The time Eastern is 12:36 p.m. So it's just after, 12:30. Look at the agent provocateur starting to take his clothes off. I'm calling him agent provocateur. I don't care if y'all call him that or not. But look, now we have to see plumber crack. I'm just sorry. Some things need to be kept private. Okay. The weird thing is this was supposed to start an hour and 6 minutes ago. Did it ever start? I don't know, because this is the one feed that we do have supposedly representing the inside of the courtroom. Maybe they're just actually having some snafus. Technology. Maybe he's not there. Maybe he's late. Oh, Alan Jackson arrives at the courthouse. So TMZ has footage of him arriving at the courthouse. This is from when? Okay, I guess we got to watch an ad. And it's long. Somewhere just made it to where okay, here. Where you have to have skippable ads. This just came out. This is the lawyer.
Ready? Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Donald Trump!
Shout out to whatever little intern had to beep out every single F word. That is so annoying. Did I call that agent provocateur or what? He basically made it to where anybody that plays any of this footage is just going to be playing like F word, F word, F word, F word, F word. First of all, he's saying it out there in public, loud as hell in front of kids. And I know kids can hear the F word, but like it's over and over and over. F Donald Trump. I don't like Donald Trump. I mean, truly F Donald Trump. That's fine. But like, it's an agent provocateur. It's somebody that's provoking chaos, and he's out there doing it where it's anybody that plays that on their live stream is going to get demonetized. Thank God. Shout out to whoever it was over there, little intern over there that was bleeping out every F word. Shout out to y'all.
Mental state right now. How's he doing? How's he doing in jail? How do you expect it? nothing.
Somebody needs to put a muzzle on that grotesque and detestable beast. Somebody needs to muzzle him. I cannot stand people. I think it's the Virgo in me. I cannot stand people out there doing stuff like that for no freaking reason. This has nothing to do with Donald Trump. This is a murder trial.
Can you tell us Nick's mental state right now?
Hurry, the entrance, hurry the entrance. How's he doing in jail right now?
Donald Trump!
Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Donald Trump!
This is chaos.
Right now?
This is chaotic.
Donald Trump! Nick, this thing for Alan, this thing for Nick's
What you're looking at right now is why I don't go to these court cases if I can help it, because it's just people do not know how to act. I mean, we don't even barely live in a civilization anymore. We just we barely live in a civilization anymore. I have so much to say. It's just really been on my mind.
It's over. It's over.
Okay. Now there is this.
Come to DSW.
Can you? No, I don't want to see that. Okay, hold on. Let me. So that video went up the same time as the TMZ article. So just to remind y'all, you know, this TMZ exclusive, they said Alan Jackson, they calling him AJ, he's going to be withdrawing from this case, apparently. A public defender is going to be taking over. I don't know if Nick REINER is going to have to be represented by a public defender for the entirety of the trial, or if somebody else is going to be stepping up to represent him. And then the answer to why, as for why he's off the case, we are told the family is going to be releasing a statement as soon as the proceedings are over. So, I mean, I cannot imagine that the proceedings aren't over. It supposedly started an hour and 10 minutes ago. This guy, I can't even, you know what? I can't even say it out loud. It's aggravating. It's really aggravating. If people want to live like that, they need to go live somewhere. And it's like, okay, well, no wonder, you know, a risk factor of schizophrenia is living in a city. I mean, these people would drive me crazy too. They're driving me crazy when I can mute them. What is going on with this Nick REINER arraignment? REINER arraignment. His lawyer just quit. I know. We were talking about it. I think Alan Jackson was the parents' lawyer, and he stepped in until he realized that he is still the parents' lawyer, and Nick had a conflict of interest. Okay. Interesting. Could be. That's a nice theory. Thank you so much, Tina Bailey, member for 5 months. Hello to the cousins. Shout out to you. Okay, so I guess I'll get back to what I was doing with this book for now until something else happens. Oh, okay. So somebody said maybe Alan Jackson's first bill came in and the executor of the estate said, no, we're not going to keep paying for this. Interesting. They do. It's like the people outside of the Diddy courthouse and the people inside were acting like animals. Not even trained, like untrained animals, like not even circus animals, because at least those are trained. They were acting like beasts. They were screeching. One screeched at me. One of them screeched at me with grown out acrylics and said I don't belong there at the freaking courthouse, a federal courthouse. I don't belong there. Mama didn't teach them no home training. I fear it may be an IQ. It might be a mashed potatoes for the frontal lobe. I'm still not over that shit. And guess what, baby girl, baby boy, whatever, in the baby day, baby dim, I'm still going to be making that documentary. I'm still not over that shit. It was so grotesque. They violently threatened me for wanting to go to a freaking court hearing. And those greedy bitches had been sitting with their grotesque, stank, musty, dusty. I had to hold my nose in their vicinity. They had been in there every day. I'm still not over it. Anyway, so this is the cover of the book, right? Spinal Tap. The story of Spinal Tap. Okay, fine. Okay, so you open up the inside cover, and of course you have Rob Reiner. Right there, you see? And that's his little bio? I can read it to y'all. What is it? Rob Reiner, a 2-time Emmy Award-winning actor for his role in the landmark television series All in the Family, is also acclaimed director of Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men, American President, Ghost of Mississippi, and The Bucket List. He recently directed the Emmy-nominated documentary Albert Brooks, Defending My Life, and The End Continues. The sequel to this is Spinal Tap. As a dedicated political activist, he spearheaded a tobacco tax initiative in California to fund early childhood development programs. Well, he should have maybe developed his own child a little better. I mean, I hate to have to say it, but the one he had some problems. Anyway, he did a cigarette tax, political. In 2008, he co-founded the American Foundation for Equal Rights, which paved the way for marriage equality nationwide. Okay. Fine. This is normal, stuff, right? Like here's the book cover. You open it up. This is the director of the movie, whatever. Okay, great. But it's one of those book covers that when you turn it around, it's also a book cover. You see what I mean? Like this is the back of the book. It's this way, right? So when you open the book up, it would be a book, whatever. You get to the end of the book and it's like this upside down bio, right? Do you see what I'm saying? Look. So I've seen this before, but this is the bizarre thing about it to me. And am I hallucinating? Am I schizophrenic? Yes or no? Don't answer the question yet until you hear the question. This is the back cover. It's upside down, but this is the back cover, and it says, "Smell the book," which I refrained from doing. I didn't smell it. And it says, "The Oral History of Spinal Tap." Now, to remind you, this is the front cover. It says, "The Story of Spinal Tap" by Rob Reiner with Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, and Harry Shearer. Okay, that's the front of the book. When you turn it to the back of the book, it says "The Oral History of Spinal Tap" by Marty DeBurgi. Okay, I'm not making this up. Look, it's right there. Marty DeBurgi. Girl. With Nigel Tufnell, David St. Hubbins, and Derek Smalls. Okay, you see that? So then when you open the back cover of the book, so this is the one we just read. We read about the marriage equality and all that. This is the one we just read. There's another one. And it looks to be Rob Reiner. Look at the picture. But that's not Rob Reiner's name. Maybe they're characters. Maybe that's his character. That's his character? Somebody that watched the movie? Marty DeBurgi was born in the Bronx, continues to live there, and will more than likely end up dying there. What is this? A graduate of the Ed Wood School of Cinematic Arts, DeBurgi has directed This Is Spinal Tap, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. What is this? What is this? Who's Ed DeBurgi? Oh, excuse me, Marty DeBurgi. Is that his character in the book? Because it says, look, Rob Reiner, da-da-da, political activism, blah, 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 da-da-da. But then over here, it's like this whole other guy who lives in the Bronx. It's a part he played in the movie. Okay, well, I was really confused. I guess I just need to watch the movie. I just really don't want to. It just looks like one of those stupid idiot movies. Character in a movie. It makes sense if you watch the movie. I just don't want to. The idiot is up on the mic. The beast that was screaming is up on the mic now. Okay, hold on. Now I want the family statement. Now I'm remembering also why in the Diddy trial, I would start like an hour or two after the trial started, because it's like, God forbid they do something on time. I'm just scrolling through the different news sources. I'm going to go back to Google too and look. Okay, is this live updates? Oh, thank God. No, the last update was before the thing started. Oh, girl. Okay, it is just a Wednesday and a half, is it not? Making a second appearance, flank, da-da-da, da-da-da. This says it's live updates, but it's not true. It's not true. Okay, let's go back. KTLA, Nick Reiner's attorney withdraws from the case ahead of arraignment. Nick Reiner's defense attorney, Alan Jackson, has withdrawn from the case just hours before the arraignment. According to a report from TMZ, he was seen arriving at the courthouse and walking into the building Wednesday morning ahead of the scheduled hearing. TMZ reports that he was expected to inform the judge today that he's no longer representing Nick. A public defender will temporarily take over the defense. According to TMZ, the case is expected to be continued with no plea entered at this time. He's charged with 2 counts, found inside their home, blah, blah, blah. Previously, Alan Jackson had requested a delay in the arraignment, citing medical clearance issues. Nick Reiner had made an initial court appearance on December 17th, but he did not enter a plea at that time. TMZ reported that the Reiner family is expected to release a statement explaining Jackson's withdrawal after Wednesday's court proceedings conclude. It remains unclear whether the public defender will continue handling the case long-term or if another private attorney will be retained. If convicted, Nick Reiner could face the death penalty or life in prison without the possibility of parole. Okay, so TMZ was streaming live from the courthouse. I can't stand listening to these people with these British accents. Okay, this says huge Nick Reiner court update. We got Harvey.
Has been derailed. We have learned that Alan Jackson, as I speak right now, the hearing has not started, but Alan Jackson will go into court and he will withdraw from the case. We are told that no plea will be entered. A public defender is going to be appointed. Now, that doesn't mean the public defender is going to handle this case from this point forward. Based on what I know, there is a real chance another lawyer is going to come in.
It's Mark Garagos.
And
it's
take
gotta
the
be.
case. As for why Alan Jackson is withdrawing, we know the family is going to issue a statement at the end of the hearing today. So take a look at that. But Alan Jackson, who famously represented Karen Reed recently, where she was found not guilty for allegedly killing her boyfriend, Alan Jackson will no longer be handling the Reiner case. Now, something else that we've reported is that Nick Reiner could likely plead not guilty by reason of insanity. As we reported, he was diagnosed with a form of schizophrenia called schizoaffective disorder. And in the month before the murders of Rob and Michelle Reiner, Nick's meds were off, and it sent him off the rails. So the defense of not guilty by reason of insanity has worked before. Not a lot, but it has worked, where somebody does not understand the nature and quality of what they've done. And that well could be something that is pleaded here, because based on what we know, it is likely that they're not going to simply plead not guilty here because of the amount of evidence that points to Nick Reiner as the person who killed his parents. So right now, Nick Reiner will not enter a plea. There will be a public defender. I don't think the public defender is going to be there for long, although I don't know that. And it is possible, but the family is going to explain why this has happened. Alan Jackson may well speak after the hearing today, and we will live stream that if he does. But right now, the Nick Reiner case is stalled.
Okay, so that did just go up 33 minutes ago, which would have been around 12 o'clock my time, which would have been about 30 minutes. So he was saying that the hearing had not started as of yet, 30 minutes ago, which still would have been 30 minutes late. Thank you so much, Beverly, for the 199 super chat. Louisiana Powell, love your work, BJ. Thank you. Thank you. The orchestra is orchestrating. I really do think it's going to be Mark Garagos. I've thought that from the first moment. I'm like, why isn't Mark Garagos on this case? This is like a Mark Garagos design for Mark Garagos case. The media, the Hollywood, the fact that he represented the Menendez brothers in their bid to get out of or get resentenced, and they were the parent killers. Like, it just seems like he would be the one. But Alan Jackson is not nobody to thumb your nose at by any means. Nick Reiner, let's go live updates. Oh man, this is crazy. Okay, let's like run through our little checkers here. Okay, that video's over. Goodbye. All right. Oh, shoot. Was it the news? No, I lost the News Nation one. Okay, let me go back to News Nation. Oh, they're not even live anymore? Huh. They're not even live anymore. So I bet you it's over. Look. It's over. Okay, so let's keep our eye out here. Okay, yeah, it looks like they're setting it up. All right. Who are these people? They look like they finna get ready to talk. The guy behind the post. Just making sure we have all our different little angles here. So, okay. So when I started this live stream, the big news was supposed to be, is Nick Reiner going to plead guilty, not guilty by reason of insanity, et cetera, et cetera. But now it looks like that's not the news anymore. The news is he's not pleading today, apparently. And this is all according to TMZ. TMZ does have a tendency to get the inside scoop on these stories before everybody else from time to time, especially when it has to do with Hollywood stuff, Hollywood directors, Hollywood people, families, nepotism, royalty, whatever you want to call it in Hollywood. And so they're saying Alan Jackson he's done quit from being on the case. And maybe there's going to be another private attorney step up, maybe there won't, But the news was supposed to be, you know, today. Well, not supposed to be, but what I'll say is expected. What we expected to hear about today was whether or not Nick Reiner, what he was going to plead. And remember, this is also the third arraignment that they have tried to do. The first arraignment, the very first day they tried to arraign him, tried to do the arraignment, he was not medically cleared to leave the jail. The very next day or so, they did have another arraignment hearing, but then Alan Jackson showed up and he said, "No, we're not ready. We need some more time. Can we push this off? Can we have a continuance?" And the judge did say, "Yes, you can." So that was pushed off until today. So today rolls around and as you know, not expected again, another unexpected moment, another unexpected thing occurred. And that is that Alan Jackson's not gonna be the lawyer no more. Okay. So I don't still think he's going to be pleading guilty or not guilty today, according to TMZ. And instead he's got this public defender. Now TMZ is already saying, but don't get too comfortable. Don't get too cozy with this public defender, because we might not be with this public defender too long. It may be another private lawyer, you know, another privately retained lawyer going to be stepping up. So then the natural question is, all right, so then that must mean maybe it doesn't have anything to do with money. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Why is Alan Jackson quitting? Well, apparently the family is going to make a statement after the proceedings are over. The family's going to make a statement after the proceedings are over, and that is go up, girl. Please, are we back on the where's this? Okay, let me switch. Some weird stuff going on with these cameras. Let me give that a like. Okay, anyway, back to what I was saying. So this is what we have up here. So yeah, I mean, let's see how it goes. We'll see. I think TMZ must already have the statement, and they said they are going to release the statement, you know, themselves. They're going to publish it. Let's see. Nick Reiner arraignment. Maybe Nick was sneaking drinks at that party. Maybe he shouldn't have been forced to go. Expected to enter plea. He ain't going to enter the plea. Let's go to the TMZ article. Have they updated it? They will update. Huh. Yes, they did update it 1 minute ago. Okay, so what's the update? The family released a statement. Breaking news. They have the utmost trust in the legal process and will not comment further on matters related to legal proceedings. So there's their statement. As of 2 minutes ago, the family has officially released their statement to the New York Times. They have the utmost trust in the legal proceedings. They have the utmost trust in the legal process and will not comment further on matters related to the legal proceedings. So, another update. Okay, cool. We have another update. Nick Reiner's new attorney is public defender Kimberly Green, who has 19 years of experience. I want to know how many wins and how many losses. The judge signed off on Nick's change. Okay, so the hearing is over. All right. Okay. We have some updates. Thank God. Okay. The hearing has happened. Nick Reiner's lawyer is off the case. TMZ has learned. Nick will be represented for the time being by a public defender. Sources connected to the Reiner family told TMZ, yeah, he was going to withdraw from the case. So this was about 10 minutes ago. Nick's new attorney is public defender Kimberly Green, who has 19 years experience. The judge signed off on Nick's change of legal representation and set a new arraignment date for February 23rd. And then Nick spoke up in court saying, yeah, I agree with that. He's leaving the courtroom and going back to jail. He still has no bail. And Alan Jackson is about to address the media, and we will live stream. The family released a statement to the New York Times saying they have the utmost trust in the legal process and they're not going to comment on any matters related to the legal process. So let's see if he's made his way out. That was only 1 or 2 minutes ago that came out. And then it was only 10 minutes ago. Oh, are we in court? Are we in court? Okay.
Specifically with subpoena number 4 on the list and subpoena number 10 on the list. Counsel for both of those individuals or those parties have appeared in court. They're here with us today. We have no principled objection to an extension of time for them to comply with the subpoena, but to maintain jurisdiction, we would ask that body attachments be issued.
I don't have the list. I'd like to get a copy, and I haven't seen the proof of service, but I assume the court.
Did counsel for 4 and 10 present?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm not sure which number I am.
Number 10.
I'm counsel for number 10, and we do object to issue if that would resolve the court's concerns about retaining jurisdiction. However, we see no reason, given our appearance and the fact that we are here to issue a rule of body attachment.
Counsel for number 4?
In counsel number 10's statement, I don't see the necessity for issuing a body attachment. I too will stipulate the jurisdiction without necessarily waiving any objections we ultimately may make. But given my newness to the matter, I don't see the necessity of having a court order issued against any individual in this circumstance.
I'm confused what's going on, but I'm just playing it until.
Yes, and so, but as to the remaining numbers, that's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Those the court will issue body attachment and hold it until the next court date.
And
9.
Thank you. We have no objection to counsel's representations, given the fact that both have graciously submitted to jurisdiction with regard to 4 and 10. We think that's appropriate.
Thank you. Once again, the court will issue and hold the read 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Thank you.
Until the next hearing date. And
Does the court have a list?
It does. The court will seal that list as well.
We've asked
People have a copy,
We've asked that the court seal it specifically because it is ongoing defense investigative data or evidence that we recover or we get, our counsel on behalf of Mr. Reiner gets, and that is discoverable. We'll comply with all, or counsel will comply with all discovery obligations at that time.
Can you address the counsel's request to provide a copy to the people?
That's the point.
I'm going to try to get to the bottom of what's going on, but this is playing now, so let's listen.
Ongoing investigative efforts by the defense, and it would compromise Mr. Reiner's right to a fair trial and his right to maintain his investigation with some level of confidence or confidentiality, I should say.
But at this time, the court will just seal until the next court hearing date.
Thank you.
And how else would you like to proceed?
Your Honor, at this time, I, on behalf of Watson Jackson and Quinn, and with Mr. Reiner's understanding and consent, would ask to withdraw his counsel's record based on the conversation that we've had in chambers and the explanation that we've provided to the court in chambers. We feel that we have no choice at this juncture but to withdraw his counsel and ask to be relieved. The Public Defender's Office has been notified. We've had conversations with them. They are here, they're staff, they're ready to take over. My understanding is they're ready for the appointment immediately, forthwith.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kimberly Green from the Public Defender's Office. That is correct.
So the court will raise, and so that firm is relieved as counsel of record, and the court appoints the Public Defender's Office to represent Mr. Reiner.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Current counsel turnover, any items they received?
We will absolutely comply with that. We've already begun. The issue has been met.
Your Honor, there's a protective order issued by the court in place regarding the handling of discovery, order that's remaining in place for now, and we'll serve a copy of that on the Public Defender's Office along with the discovery we provide.
Yes, the court will order that order.
Me from here, Mr. Bailey raises a very sage point. I'm under a protective order not to provide our discovery to anybody else. That would text providing the information only to Ms. Green in her office, then I can be.
He don't even want to turn over the discovery to the prosecutors.
Response to that request?
No problem. I believe the protective order spells out that it covers Mr. Jackson's firm as well as any successor counsel.
Thank you.
So you can provide everything to Ms. Green.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Back on the record in People versus Nick Reiner, case number 25 CJC F08098.
Good morning, Kimberly Green here at the ENE Special Defender's Office on behalf of Mr. Reiner.
That's his new lawyer.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Khalid Bailey, representing the people of the state of California.
Thank you.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, we'd ask to put over the arraignment one last time to February 23rd, if that date is appropriate.
That date is fine, court.
Thank you.
She looked tired already.
Ms. Green to get her discovery prior to that date.
I'll take a waiver for you. Entitled, you have a constitutional statutory right to a speedy arraignment. Your counsel, Ms. Green from the Public Defender's Office, is requesting that your arraignment be continued to February the 23rd, 2026. In this department, do you waive your right to be arraigned today so that your matter may be continued to February 23rd, 2026 for arraignment?
Yeah.
Is counsel joining that waiver?
I do.
The court finds that the defendant has made a knowing and intelligent waiver of his right to a speedy arraignment and that his counsel of record joins in that waiver. Matter set for arraignment in this department, February 23rd, 2026. Bail remains at no bail. Anything further?
No, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the end of that one. So I'll loop it.
Okay. The guy is still out there screeching. Let me see if we can catch the very beginning. I rewinded it to see if we can catch the very beginning.
Screen is showing on everyone else's, but you
I'm just trying to go to the very, very beginning to see if we can get any more information because we kind of dropped in like before it started. Okay. It's frozen now. This is a shit show.
Right to.
This is what it's doing. This is it. It's like that. This is what it's doing. Okay. Let's go to the press conference. So what we were definitely able to ascertain for at least is that there was some type of backroom meeting. Okay. You remember in the Diddy trial, they would have all those backroom closed door meetings. Well, that's what happened. There was a backroom meeting between who? I mean, I don't know. It seems like it was an ex parte meeting. And the lawyer, Alan Jackson, he was, saying some stuff to the judge. And based on these statements and these things that he said to the judge, he's saying, I have no choice but to withdraw. I have no choice. I have to withdraw. So there's only a few things that could give him no choice but to withdraw. One of them is an untenable conflict of interest. I guess one of them could be if Nick Reiner doesn't want him to be his lawyer. Let's see if okay. So the New York Times apparently got a statement from the family. So let me bring that up. Okay. Nick Reiner's lawyer removes, this came out 18 minutes ago, New York Times, removes himself from the murmur case. The announcement delayed the arraignment of Nick, who is accused of unaliving his parents last month. The high-profile criminal defense lawyer representing Nick removed himself from the case Wednesday. A few weeks after prosecutors accused Nick of unaliving his parents, the Hollywood director Rob Reiner and Michelle. The significant departure was announced during a hearing in Los Angeles Superior Court where Mr. Reiner was set to be arraigned on 2 counts of first-degree murder. It may suggest that the Reiner family has distanced itself from Nick Reiner and his legal case, at least financially. That was my thoughts. It was something about money. Mr. Reiner, who was wearing a brown jumpsuit, did not enter a plea today. A judge rescheduled the arraignment for February 23rd and directed the case to the public defender's office. Okay, where's that supposed statement from the family? Where's that supposed statement from the family? Okay. TMZ was citing a statement from the family. Doesn't look like one has come out. I still don't know if they're out here doing the press conference yet. Let's see. Still no press conference people have come up. What is going on today, y'all? They make jokes to show they can because they're above the law. It's really gross to me. Can he remove himself if the family or whoever stops paying him? Yeah, I mean, if they're like, we're not paying you, so you have to quit, then he, could. I mean, I guess he also could have represented him pro bono, but I don't know. We just don't know enough. Let me see if TMZ has said anything else on their article. Have they updated it? They have updated it since last time we saw it. A spokesperson for the Reiner family issued a statement. They have the utmost trust in the legal process. They're not going to comment. A source told New York Times the change had nothing to do with Alan's performance. He had been a pro. His new representative is a public defender, Kimberly Green, who has 19 years experience. The judge signed off on Nick's change of legal representation, set a new arraignment. He's leaving the courtroom and going back to jail. His lawyer is off the case. Why? What's like... Some things are so dark and disturbing, normal people can't fathom it. That's the truth. Who said test 1, 2, 3? I heard somebody say test 1, 2, 3. Public defenders are provided when the client does not have financial means. That is true. It has to be an indigent client. That being said, I think public defenders can still be assigned if you don't like get a lawyer, but then you would have to still, if you have financial means, then you do have to pay for some portion of it. I don't know how it works exactly in California. TMZ said a statement was given to New York Times, but we just read the New York Times article. Yeah, if that lawyer represents the family, I don't see how he could represent Nick without a conflict. True, like how you going to represent the person who unalived your clients when your clients are the I don't know. Okay, so now we're an hour and 44 minutes into this. Still like no really clear answers. Sometimes I just look at the adults that are actually in charge and it makes me feel scared because these are the people in charge. Let me see if I can just look it on Google. Like, why did... Okay, E-News is saying Nick Reiner's family speaks out after attorney withdraws from murmur case. During Nick's January 7th arraignment, his attorney announced his withdrawal from the case. During an appearance, he announced he's going to withdraw from the case, according to MS Now reporter in the courtroom. Okay, I need the MS Now reporter in the courtroom's information. Leaving Nick's case in the hands of a public defender for the time being. The change in counsel means Nick's plea was not entered for the 2 charges of first-degree murmur with special circumstance, multiple murmurs, Okay, this is them in front of the White House. I mean, okay. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm just honestly a little bit taken aback. A source told the New York Times the change had nothing to do with Allen's performance. Okay, who's somebody talking? Are they getting their story straight? Are they in the back rooms? Like, what's going on here? Let's see, NBC News.
Having a court order issued against an individual in this
Okay, here's the court hearing.
jurisdiction without necessarily waiving any objection. Ultimately may go into jurisdiction without necessarily waiving any objections we ultimately may make. But given my newness to the matter, I don't see the necessity of having a court order issued against an individual in this circumstance.
Thank you, Your Honor, and just to be clear, we do also reserve all of our objections.
Yes, and so, but as to remaining,
Okay, here are some of the things that I found to be interesting about this little court arraignment hearing thing that they did show. So, first of all, they're talking about body attachments. A body attachment, let me just look it up, but from what I understand, that's kind of like a bench warrant. Let me do body attachment California. A body attachment is a court order for law enforcement to arrest someone and bring them before the court, usually for failing to obey a court order, like missing a hearing, not paying child support fines, or violating probation. It's a way for the court to enforce compliance. Do y'all remember when I said, I don't know for sure if Nick did it, and if he did, I feel like he probably had help? Y'all remember that? I have to make that video today. I have to make that. I'm going to make a video today and make it private. And whenever it inevitably turns out to be true, I'm going to make it public. And y'all are going to see the day I made it. Because I don't want to accuse anybody, especially somebody that might be grieving, of anything. But I got a real strong feeling coming straight down into the top of my head and giving me scalp chills that it's possible the conflict of interest is what's his name is already going to be representing somebody else in this case. The Menendez brothers was 2 of them. Remember that? I don't want to speculate. I don't. I think it would be very cruel with no proof to just start throwing around theories. But I got a theory. I got a theory. I got a theory. It's coming down right. I'm getting head chills. Okay. Okay. Let's put it this way. It was an open and shut case, right? All the dad's friends, all the mom's friends started coming out. This kid was crazy. We were scared of him. The yoga teacher, everybody. It's almost like they're trying to protect somebody by throwing somebody else under the bus. Yeah, the lawyer quit. Maybe it's because, money. Maybe it's because Mark Garagos wants to do it. There could be 1,000 million reasons. But why are they talking about a body attachment? And why are they talking about jurisdiction? A body attachment is a warrant, an arrest warrant. Look, what is a body attachment warrant? This is from a law firm, egattorneys.com. It can be unnerving to be approached by law enforcement, even more so to be told that you have been named in a body attachment warrant and they're placing you under arrest to take you to court. The term body attachment can sound intimidating. It's one of the most common types of warrants issued in California. The term is often interchanged with bench warrant. But what is a body attachment? And how should you respond if you're named in one? Again, I'm reading from a lawyer website. This is public information. This is not legal advice from me. Suppose you signed a written promise to appear in court, but you failed to appear as required. In that case, the judge could issue a body attachment, a warrant authorizing law enforcement to arrest you and bring you to court. A judge may issue a warrant in a criminal or civil case. Notably, a body attachment warrant is different than an arrest warrant. A judge issues an arrest warrant after showing probable cause that you were engaged in criminal activity outside the presence of law enforcement. Judges typically issue a writ of body attachment in a criminal case if you fail to comply with a court order or attend a court hearing. For example, a judge might issue a body attachment if you fail to show up for a court appearance after you were arrested and released on your own recognizance. A judge can also issue, and who found the body? That's the first person you always look at in Law and Order Criminal SVU. Who called the cops to report it is the first suspect in Law and Order SVU. Okay, I don't know about in the real world. Who called to report it is the first question they always ask, and they're always looking at that person as a suspect. Thank you so much, Daily Dose of Crystal, for the $19.99 super chat. That's for the camera fund. Did he have an outstanding warrant? I don't know if he did or not, but to me, that's irrelevant because he's in jail. There's no possibility for bail. So who could have possibly failed to show up for court that they're still talking about body attachments? Is there possibly more than one defendant in this case? Is there possibly more than one defendant in this case? I know y'all remember me saying, I think it was, if it even was Nick, he had other people, another person. Look, I don't want to start any rumors unnecessarily, but I'm telling y'all, I'm having a feeling. Okay. That's all I'll say. So, that being said,
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Those, the court will issue body attachment and hold it until the next court date.
Okay, I need to listen to that again. I'm rewinding.
Thank you, Your Honor. And just to be clear, we do also reserve all our objections. Yes, and so, but as to the remaining numbers, it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Those, the court will issue body attachment and hold it until the next court date.
Alternative theory, could this have something to do with like a grand jury situation? Are they trying to build their case in an investigative grand jury, and that's what the body attachments are for? People not showing up to court. We're kind of going through this in the David case as well, where they had to issue a body attachment for somebody that wasn't going to show up. They're saying all kind of numbers, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. We're going to issue body attachments for all of them. Maybe this is an investigative grand jury situation, and that's why they keep pushing this out. Maybe that's why they want to push it out till February 23rd. Yes, thank you again to everybody that donated to the camera fund. Is that why they're kind of scuffling and scurrying about now? Because they really don't have enough information. Like, there's people that you would need to interview, right? The lady from or the man, whoever it was from the hotel. People that sold him something at the gas station, a drink or whatever, different people, the siblings, you would need to, get warrants for. What if it's that the siblings don't want to testify against their brother? And now the lawyer is going to have to represent them, and they're pleading I don't know. All I can do is speculate. I'm not even really speculating. I'm just throwing different types of possibilities out. The timeline is that they died 1 minute apart. To me, that is suspicious. I allegedly think he had help. Well, Wendy, I think the way that they do the autopsy reports and the death certificates is they mark the time of death as the time that they were found. And I think they were probably found 1 minute apart. Let's listen to this again.
Thank you. We have no objection to counsel's representations, given the fact that both have graciously submitted to jurisdiction with regard to 4 and 10. We think that's appropriate.
Thank you. Once again, the court will issue and hold the reading 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Thank you.
Until the next hearing date.
The court is going to issue body attachments. These are warrants. She's putting warrants out for 5, 6, 7, and 10, like 4 or 5 people.
It does. The court will seal that list as well.
We've asked people to have a copy, Your Honor.
We've asked that the court seal it specifically because it is ongoing defense investigation data or evidence that we recover and we get. Our counsel, on behalf of Mr. Reiner, gets, and that is discoverable. We'll comply with all, or counsel will comply with all discovery obligations at that time.
Okay, address the counsel's request.
So then the next thing that Alan Jackson asked the lawyer, he said, also, I'm dropping out here, but you still need to seal that list. That list you have with those body attachments on it, you need to seal that list, Your Honor, because it's secret. It's having to do with the ongoing investigation for the defense. And he said, I don't want to give the list to the prosecutors either. He said, I only want to give the list to only the public defender, Kimberly Green, who we did see, and she looked tired. She looked tired already. Over it.
That's the point. We think that should not be done because that would implicate ongoing investigative efforts by the defense, and it would compromise Mr. Reiner's right to a fair trial and his right to maintain his investigation with some level of confidence. Confidentiality issues.
But at this time, the court will just seal it until the next court hearing date.
Thank you.
And how else would Judge proceed?
Your Honor, at this time, I, on behalf of Watson Jackson and Quinn, and with Mr. Reiner's understanding and consent, would ask to withdraw as counsel's record based on the conversation that we've had in chambers and the explanation that we've provided to the court in chambers. We feel that we have no choice at this juncture but to withdraw as counsel and ask to be relieved. The public defender's office has been notified.
So he said, in case you didn't hear, I know there's a lot of noise, but he said, based on the conversation we had in your chambers, which is in the back room, and the reasoning we provided there, we feel we have no choice but to withdraw as counsel and to be relieved from our duties. I think this lawyer has conflicts because he's representing all of them. I think the lawyer was representing the sister, the brother, and now they're being called in to testify against their brother. I think they probably don't want to testify. She's put body attachments out on people. I don't know who. There's also some discussion about whether or not this court has jurisdiction over people. So maybe it's not the siblings because they do live in LA. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is, what y'all just heard. And I'm kind of trying to reverse engineer it together. Are we still waiting for a speech? I'm starting to think they're not going to do a press conference. It was 2 hours ago that the hearing started, and we just saw that it was 13 minutes long. It wasn't like a long thing. Let's see. Oh, look. Yeah, they are up at the press conference. Okay, here you go.
His office
and the entire staff. Our hearts at this time go out to the entire family. We hope that the community will also understand that this is a challenging time for the entire legal process. We ask for your patience, your understanding as we navigate this process through the legal system, and that we will be available as we can be to address your questions when appropriate. Thank you.
When did you find out?
We learned, I believe, last night or yesterday that we were being substituted.
They found out last night.
To Nick, and then how's his mental state?
I'm going to let Ms.
I
Green
spoke
answer
to him
that.
briefly this morning, but we haven't had a chance to discuss anything. I spoke to Mr. Reiner briefly this morning.
How's his mental state?
He was understanding that there was going to be a change in counsel. We haven't had any in-depth conversation.
His former,
I have not.
his former attorney says he's not guilty. Would he be pleading not guilty?
We'll discuss that with Mr. Reiner and see how to proceed. Not at all. It's not uncommon for private counsel to turn over cases to us, so no, but nothing about that would complicate the situation. I have talked to him for only 30 seconds this morning, so no, I have no idea. I only spoke to Mr. Reiner for about 30 seconds this morning. I have no
Has the
comment about
family,
it.
siblings reached out? Have the siblings reached out?
We've had no contact with the family. I don't think they were aware that this was going on until this morning.
Wow.
At this point in time, Ms. Green will look into the case. We'll speak with Mr. Reiner. And if you have any further questions, reach out to our media team once we have more information ourselves. This just happened today, and my understanding is he was aware of it. Ms. Green spoke with him, as you heard. And as soon as we have more information that we can share, we will share.
Thank you. No further questions at this time. Thank you. You can direct any further questions.
Is it green standard spelling?
Thank you, Ms. Green.
Green with an E.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see if anyone else is gonna come talk, and then I'll. Edward, can you hear me?
Next up, we have the district attorney.
This crazy lady is saying the DA is coming out, so she said, "Don't move."
Nathan Hockman is going to be
This is as loud as it goes. I think their mic is just not loud enough.
DA of Los Angeles County.
Garcia, Los Angeles County Public Defender. I'm here with Kimberly Green, the Deputy Public Defender assigned to the Reiner case. I want to say that on behalf of the entire Public Defender's Office, we are incredibly sorry and understand the pain and suffering that the Reiner family is going through at this time, as well as the entire Los Angeles community. The Public Defender's Office and the entire staff, our hearts at this time go out to the entire family. We hope that the community will also understand that this is a challenging time for the entire legal process. We ask for your patience, your understanding as we navigate this process through the legal system, and that we will be available as we can be to address your questions when appropriate. Thank you. We learned, I believe, last night or yesterday that we were being substituted in. I'm going to let Ms. Green answer that.
I spoke to him briefly this morning, but we haven't had a chance to discuss anything. I spoke to Mr. Reiner briefly this morning. He was understanding that there was going to be a change in counsel. We haven't had any in-depth conversation. I have not.
His former attorney says he's not guilty.
His former attorney says he's not guilty. That's news.
Not at all. It's not uncommon for private counsel to turn over cases to us, so no, but nothing about that would complicate the situation. I have talked to him for only 30 seconds. I have no idea. I only spoke to Mr. Reiner for about 30 seconds this morning. I have no comment about his mental state. I have not. We've had no contact with the family. I don't think they were aware that this was going on.
They didn't know it was going on.
At this point in time, Ms. Green will look into the case. We'll speak with Mr. Reiner. And if you have any further questions, reach out to our media team once we have more information ourselves. This just happened today, and my understanding is he was aware of it. Ms. Green spoke with him, as you heard. And as soon as we have more information that we can share, we will share it.
Thank you. No further questions at this time.
Thank you.
Don't tell me what to do. I don't like people telling me stuff like, yeah, nah, shut up. Who are you? Get control of your own life first.
Guys, stay there. Hoffman is coming out. Don't move. Okay? We all behave.
Okay, so one thing that was just said, this is the live feed from page 6. They're saying that Hawkman is coming out. That's the DA. TMZ is also reporting live. They do seem to have a little bit of a quicker, faster feed, but you just can't barely hear anything they're saying over there. So I am going to stick with this. Oh, look at that shapeshifter walking up back there. I'm just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. He kind of does look a little bit turtleish though. Okay, here comes the DA to make a speech. This is the prosecutor.
Good morning. My name is Nathan Hawkman. I'm the District Attorney of Los Angeles County. With me is Habib Balian. He is the Assistant Head Deputy of Major Crimes. He will be prosecuting this case. I'm here to make 3 points, and then I will not be taking questions afterwards. In our criminal justice system, every defendant is entitled to a lawyer who will zealously represent their interests and do so effectively. So too is Nick Reiner, whether it's Alan Jackson, someone from the public defender's office, or any lawyer. He's entitled to that lawyer, and we'll make sure he gets that lawyer. Second point, in the process of dealing with that lawyer, we will make sure, the DA's office will make sure that that lawyer is provided with full discovery of all the facts that pertain to this particular situation, whether it's interviews, whether it's any type of video, whether it's any type of expert reports. We'll make sure that that lawyer gets the facts necessary to effectively represent their client in a court of law. And third point, we are fully confident that a jury will convict Nick Reiner beyond a reasonable doubt of the brutal murders of his parents, Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner, and do so unanimously. Thank you very much.
Have you spoken with the family?
Do you still plan on seeking the death penalty?
Okay, is Alan Jackson going to make a statement?
Did you say anything?
Yeah.
Or did he before? I definitely want to hear the beginning of the speech of the press conference, so I do want to go to the beginning of that.
Maybe let's see.
Okay, here we go. Oh, Alan Jackson did speak. Okay. So I rewinded it. Okay, here he comes.
Yeah, right here, right here. Good morning. As you know, my name is Alan Jackson. This morning, I had to withdraw as Nick Reiner's counsel. Circumstances beyond our control, but more importantly, circumstances beyond Nick's control have dictated that, sadly, it's made it impossible for us to continue our representation of Nick. I'm legally and I'm ethically prohibited from explaining all the reasons why. I know that's a question on everybody's mind. We expect the public defender to step in. They've already been appointed and very capably protect Nick Reiner's interests as he moves forward through the system. But be clear, be very, very clear about this. My team and I remain deeply, deeply committed to Nick Reiner and to his best interests. In fact, we know, we're not just convinced, we know that the legal process will reveal the true facts of the circumstances surrounding this case, Nick's case. You know, a lot's been printed.
He looks shook.
Over the last 3 weeks, a lot has been printed about Nick, printed about his family, printed about the circumstances. Speculation is in print. On December 15th, in the early morning hours, I was in New York at the time, and I got a call. Me and my team, we dropped everything. And for the last 3 weeks, We have devoted literally every waking hour to protecting Nick and his interests. We've investigated this matter top to bottom, back to front. What we've learned, and you can take this to the bank.
Oh, the bank.
Is that pursuant to the laws of this state, pursuant to the law in California, Nick REINER is not guilty of murder.
Woo!
Print that.
Print that.
Print that. We wish him the very, very best moving forward. And that's all I have today.
Okay, I'm not familiar with this guy. I've never really like seen him speak other than the one time in this case. This is a very different tone that he's taking from the last time. This was about, I guess, 10 minutes or so ago. He said, under the laws of this state, in the state of California, I am certain that Nick REINER is not guilty. And he said there's a lot of reasons, things happen I can't talk about. Oh, here come. Okay, so now I'm going to play the beginning part of the public defender. So that was the original lawyer. He had to withdraw. We don't know why. We can only speculate. But under the state of California laws, he said, I know that this man is not guilty. And I think the true facts are going to come out in this case. Not guilty under the laws of the state of California could mean insanity, could mean involuntary intoxication, could mean he was drugged, could mean whatever. He went and had a backroom talk with the judge. Nobody knows what was said back there. I mean, maybe Harvey Levin and them might get some tea like they did in the Diddy trial. Let's see what was said at the beginning of the press conference from the public defender. So these people coming out now, they're the public defenders. They're the ones that are taking over, at least for now, from the job that Alan Jackson had done. Yeah. The print that is very like run and tell that. It's very that. He said, take it to the bank. Woo! I think he was drugged. I think he was given medicine he did not want to take. I think his supposedly, this is my working theory. This is my working opinion. I'm putting it on the books right now, January 7th, 1:47 p.m. Eastern time. This is my current working theory. It's just a theory. I think Nick REINER did not want to take the medicine that he was on. I think his parents and his family or his parents or his family were pressuring him to take these schizo medicines that he didn't want to take. I think he was taking them anyway. And then he also ended up killing his parents. That's what I think. I think he maybe even didn't do it alone. But I think he had some knowledge of it. And I think that's where that this is my body language analysis from Alan Jackson just now. I think he's shook. I think he has righteous indignation. I think he's pissed. I think he's mad. He said he's spent every single second of the last 3 weeks on this case, and for reasons beyond Nick REINER's control, he cannot represent him. Is it beyond his control? His sister is the executor of the estate. His brother is the executor of the estate. They're refusing to answer questions and they won't pay. I don't know. I have no idea. Y'all that know him, y'all are saying, oh, he's definitely shook. Oh, he's upset. He knows something and he is disturbed over something. I think Nick was trying to advocate for himself. This is what I think, based on just that very aggressive, dramatic, display that we just saw. The fact that, there's body attachments. Who is it that a judge would be putting a body attachment on? Jurisdiction. They are both going to waive jurisdiction. Who is they are both? Who is they are both going to waive jurisdiction? Is it maybe both of the other siblings? I know a scapegoat when I'm looking at one. I know a scapegoat. when I see it. These public defenders just got this job today or last night. They're like, we just got here. Like, please, I haven't even had my coffee yet.
Sure. Ricardo Garcia, Los Angeles County Public Defender. I'm here with Kimberly Green, the Deputy Public Defender assigned to the REINER case. I want to say that on behalf of the entire Public Defender's Office, we are incredibly sorry and understand the pain and suffering that the REINER family is going through at this time, as well as the entire Los Angeles community. The Public Defender's Office and the entire staff, our hearts at this time go out to the entire family.
Okay, so we've already seen this.
This is a
I want to watch that Alan Jackson one again. Something's weird. I'm getting weird vibes about this whole freaking thing. And I have let the record reflect. Y'all already know I have gotten weird vibes from this whole thing from the first moment I heard about it. I said, was there a conservatorship? When I heard somebody killed their parents, I said, were they trying to conserve him? Not that that's a reason, not that that's an excuse, but it's such a weird thing that these weirdos do. Let me see if TMZ has updated any updates real quick. And I want to go back and listen. Okay, we do have some updates from TMZ. Let me show y'all those. Okay, there's a picture of Nick. Excuse me, a drawing. 10:32 a.m. Pacific time. Alan Jackson just held a brief news conference where he said there's one thing everybody can take to the bank. Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder. He said the circumstances under which he had to withdraw from the case were beyond Nick's control. And that's when y'all saw me do this. Like, I think it's money. I think somebody has been assigned the trustee of his trust and they're not letting him have his money. He has a trust. He had a rich grandpa too. So it's not even just his parents left him money. I'm sure his grandpa did. And I think they're not giving him his money for his lawyers. I really think that. That's what I really think. And then the question is why? Why? Like, Jackson said the circumstances under which he had to withdraw are not Nick's fault and they were beyond Nick's control. TMZ broke the story. Nick was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder and there are issues regarding his meds that could lead to a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. And again, I don't know who needs to hear this, the public defender. I don't know. I hope that if Nick was made to take medications, was forced in any way to take medications, pressured to take medications. You're going to get kicked out if you don't take medications. We're going to put you in a conservatorship if you don't. If there was any pressure or coercion on him to take these medications that then ultimately made him, contributed to him losing his freaking mind momentarily or perhaps forever and killing his parents, then I think whoever made him get the medicine or take the medicine or whoever forced him to take it is just as guilty, because it's gotten way too out of hand out here. These psychological medications are ubiquitous. They are everywhere, but they are drugs nonetheless. They are mind altering substances that you're giving someone who's already got a mind altered supposed disorder, schizoaffective disorder, whatever the hell that even is. Something's wrong here. Something's unjust going on. That's what I feel. Okay. So I hope, that's what I was trying to say. So I hope if anybody that has any sway in this case has any occasion to think about the fact that it doesn't only have to be not guilty by reason of insanity. It could, another defense possibility is not guilty by reason of involuntary intoxication. If y'all, there's 721 people in this chat right now. If y'all could, when you're making your little comments here and there and everywhere, consider involuntary intoxication as a defense. And it's when you're drugged, when you're pressured to consume, when you don't know you're drinking alcohol, but someone's put alcohol in your drink, when you don't want to take the tranquilizer shot at rehab, but they shove it in there anyway. That is involuntary intoxication. That's not insanity. Do you see what I'm saying? If you get behind the wheel after someone drugged your drink, think about it this way. You're at a bar, you get roofied. You don't know. You don't know. You get in your car, you're out of your freaking mind. You run somebody over, they look like the Loch Ness Monster, you kill them, whatever. You fall asleep at the wheel. Somebody slipped you an Ambien. Oops. You kill someone. That's not murder. It wasn't your fault. You couldn't have possibly done anything else. You didn't know. You're lacking the requisite mental capacity. You're lacking the requisite mental element. The mental state has to be there. It's called mens rea, the mental state. Yeah, he probably was grinning and smiling creepily in court, as the Daily Mail is reporting, because he's on drugs that they give him in jail. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Okay, and then here come the prosecutor, probably friends with...
Mochi has helped me lose over 100 pounds.
Oh, I don't
can't
want to hear
remember a
about
time
Mochi.
where I wasn't.
I hate ads. Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hochman says prosecutors are confident that the jury will find Nick Reiner guilty of murder, no matter who he has as a defense lawyer. So that was another thing too. I do want to go over. So the prosecutor got up and he said, there's only 3 things we really need to talk about today, and I ain't taking no questions. So number 1, Nick Reiner, just as everyone else, is entitled to an attorney. Number 2, we're going to make sure that whoever his attorney is has all of the case files, every interview, every piece of evidence that they need before we move forward. That's interesting. He only said 3 things, and that was one of them. So what's in those evidences? What's in those interviews? What's in all that? And then he said, and number 3, I am confident, the district attorney said, that a jury will unanimously convict this man of murder in the first degree. Maybe they will. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff we don't know. And now that I'm thinking about it, where's those autopsy reports and why are they hidden from the public? That's another question I have. I want to put up a poll for y'all to take. Okay, I got the poll. Please vote in the poll. What are they talking about at TMZ?
He's not going to argue that he didn't commit the killings, right? Correct. He's going to argue that as a matter of law, even though Nick Reiner did in fact deal the fatal blows to his parents, he is not guilty under California law because he was not legally sane at the time he committed the killing.
So there's a standard for showing not guilty by reason of insanity in California. And a lot of people think it means you have to show the person didn't know the difference between right and wrong. That's not true. That's a common mistake people make, that Nick Reiner, by all accounts, knew it was wrong because he fled and he went to a hotel. And we're going to get into other reasons in the next couple of days. We have a documentary coming out on Fox on Friday night.
Okay.
But what it means is the person lacks the capacity to understand the nature and quality of the act that they're committing.
Right. Well, what's interesting is that so we should say Alan Jackson was speaking on the steps of the courthouse in downtown LA right after what was supposed to be Nick's arraignment. Nick Reiner was in court this morning. Alan Jackson was there as well, and that's when he announced to the judge that he was withdrawing from the case. Nick Reiner, the pool camera was not allowed to show him, but there was a court sketch artist there. But We had a reporter who was in the courtroom who said that he was rocking back and forth. He was smiling without showing teeth.
I think Alexa is up. I think
do we
she's
have
up.
Alexa?
Do we have Alexa on Skype? Okay, let's just wait and get her up.
Let's get her.
So yeah, I mean, any
Alexa.
way that he's acting right now, again, I mean, is he choosing to take the psychiatric medications that they're giving him in jail right now? The answer is no. They're just giving it to him. I mean, they will drug you. Oh, involuntary intoxication is so scary. I wonder how many people are in jail or conservatorships because of this. I sure do. I sure do. This could be police. Something scared him. Something's weird. Something's weird with the way Alan Jackson, that man has defended murderers. He's defended killers. He looks scared. He looked deer in headlights. He looked resolute. And he looked shook. He looked shook. Conservatorship, take his inheritance. Imprisonment, take his inheritance. And guess what else? His parents were like getting close to 80. His dad was 78. Wouldn't be too long before they would be the ones in conservatorships. Let's be honest. And he's won. I think he was blindsided. He looked disturbed. I am disturbed. Something's weird going on. All right, y'all. I got to go because I got to make 2 more other videos today. And then I have a video coming out on BJ Investigates. Another episode of the cloning series is coming out tonight on BJ Investigates. So I will be putting that one out as well tonight. But I do have to run. I have to make a couple more videos today. So make sure that you have your notification bell on. Please do make sure that you didn't get unsubscribed. I have been getting reports that there's been a mass unsubscribing across all of YouTube. So make sure that you are still subscribed to my channel. You didn't get unsubscribed, and make sure you're still subscribed to your other favorite channels that you like, because there has been a bit of a mass unsubscribing of sorts going on, and it is actually kind of affecting me and like my channels, not me. And if you would like to donate to the new camera fund, I'm just now remembering that I am going to probably have to buy another one, or else stream from my phone, which I guess is fine. But all right, that's all I really had for this one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Neither are opinions. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. This case is just heating up, I think. Love you, Mina K. Bye.